Hi guys, welcome to my channel. First of all, how are you doing today? I know 2020 has been very hard on us, but I hope you're keeping yourself strong and I hope you're keeping yourself optimistic. My name is Jada, I come from Italy, so there's going to be a lot of mispronunciation of words in here. I know I've made it really hard for myself, but I will try my best. Now this is a brand new channel and I decided to create it so that I could talk to you about some true crime stories and stories in general that I find interesting and that I think you may find interesting as well. These kind of videos will be actually different from the storytime videos you've seen so far. I decided to bring in my Sims 4 game and try to recreate all the people I'm going to talk about in these stories. Now I know what you're saying, but Jada, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to say, you're absolutely right. It doesn't make any sense. It's more of a way to keep myself busy while I talk to you, and also a way to make these videos kind of different to what you've seen so far. The first story will be a true crime story. So a little disclaimer, if you know you get triggered by this kind of stories, it's okay, it's alright, you don't have to watch the video. But if you want to try anyway, I can promise you right now, I will keep out all the upsetting and gruesome details, just because I don't want you to feel upset or uncomfortable after watching my video. So the first person we're going to talk about today is Daniel La Plante. So I'm going to recreate him while I tell you the story. In order to do this, I downloaded some custom content, some CC, and if you need this CC and you want to use it in your game, don't worry, I will keep all the download links in the description box below. Oh, and of course I will show you the pic I'm going to use as a reference for this video. Ta-da! I will stop rambling, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's start with the first story. And let's start. First of all, Daniel La Plante was a man. Shocking, I know, this story is already shocking. The moment I discovered about this story, I thought it was very interesting and I wanted to cover it. But mind you, it's really difficult to distinguish between what is true and what is not, because this is kind of a weird one, so bear with me. I will first talk to you about what we know for sure happened. Daniel La Plante, he was born May 15th, 1970. He grew up in Townsend, Massachusetts, where he lived with his mother and his stepfather. Now, sadly, Daniel was physically and psychologically abused by many adults when he was just a child, and the only responsible for the majority of the abuse was his own stepfather. So Daniel struggled with school. He was diagnosed with dyslexia at an early age and was referred to by his classmates as, quote, creepy and weird. Now, as a teenager, he was referred to as psychiatrics due to his strange behavior, his appearance, and a lack of hygiene. But sadly again, Daniel had to end his treatment because the psychiatrics physically abused him during their sessions. And this is a part that makes me so mad, because you're a doctor. Like, what are you doing? You should make people feel safe. You should make people trust you. I don't know what happened to this psychiatrist, but I hope he's rotting in jail, to be honest. Now, during 1987, near Townsend, a lot of burglaries had been occurring in the area. Among the items stolen, there were 2 handguns, and one of these handguns was found in the possession of Daniel by his stepfather. When his father asked him about the gun, Daniel told that he bought it the year prior in Westminster and gave little to no explanation for it. Daniel never told his family that he had a second gun in possession. In November of 1987, Daniel, who mind you was just 17 years old, targeted the Gustafson's residence for his next burglary. Among the items he had stolen, there were home electronics and collectible coins, which were actually found by Daniel's brother, who asked him, about the items, where did you find them? And, he just answered, don't tell mom and dad, just hide them inside of a toolbox. Very suspicious, if you ask me. Later that month, Daniel asked both his brother and a friend if either of them could provide him with 22 caliber bullets. And when he was questioned once again, like, why do you need these bullets? He just said, give me the bullets, I will turn them into larger bullets and sell them. Because that's a normal job, right? Selling larger bullets. Now, December 1st, 1987. That's where the real story starts. Andrew Gustafson would come home to find his entire family dead. Gustafson's wife, Priscilla, who was a nursery school teacher and was pregnant at the time, was found in a pool of blood in the couple's bed. She appeared to have been shot twice in the head and her body had been abused. Andrew Gustafsson immediately called police, and when police arrived, they made another very sad discovery. They discovered the bodies of 8-year-old Abigail and 5-year-old William, who were, of course, the Gustafsson children, and they were found in the upstairs bathroom, and both of them appear to have been drowned. Police will be able to link the scene to Daniel, and is now serving life in prison. I know what you're saying, like, this is a very sad story, poor Andrew, but this is not that weird, Jada. But here starts the weird part. Let me take you 1 year prior, 1986. Sisters Annie and Jessica Andrews began to receive phone calls from a boy at their home. Now, this boy said he was a teenager from another high school in the area, and that he received the girl's phone number from a friend. Now, guess who this boy was? Annie, she enjoyed a lot speaking on the phone with this boy, and she looked forward to speaking with him regularly. After several weeks of speaking with Daniel, the strange boy who had been calling at home, Annie agreed to go on a date with him. And when she answered the door, she understood she had been catfished. Big time. Daniel was not what she expected. He said on the phone that he was athletic, blonde, and perfect, and whatever. But in reality, when she opened the door, she just found a skinny boy with dark hair, looking very depressed and creepy. Annie felt as if she had been let down, but still, she agreed to go on a date with him. And Daniel took her out for an ice cream before she made up an excuse and rushed home. A month had passed. And Annie didn't think much about, the disappointing date with Danny. She and her sister had more pressing matters on their minds because several months before speaking on the phone with Daniel, the girls had lost their mother after a long battle with cancer. Their father worked long hours to help support the family, and the girls were, feeling very lonely. They missed their mother. But one night, the girls decided to hold a seance in hopes of speaking with their mother one more time. When their father, Brian, came home, he found them in the basement, swinging a crystal and chanting. And of course he said, stop with whatever you're doing and go to sleep. The same night, as the girls were nestled in their beds, they thought they heard a sound of a knocking on the walls. Convinced they were successful in contacting their mother, they asked the spirit some question, and the spirit was actually, answering with the bangings on the wall. But this activity became worse and worse as time progressed. Girls started noticing things moving around, things missing from the home, and in general, the whole knocking thing became so strong that it was actually scaring them. The girls understood this entity couldn't be their mother. Their mother would never want them to be so scared. Now, the only person who had not witnessed any ghost activity was their father, Brian. The girls, of course, told Brian about the ghost. They said, Dad, I think we contacted something and we brought it in our home and it's now making all this noise and moving stuff and whatever. It's actually scaring us. But Brian, maybe also because he had, other things in his mind, he dismissed the girls' claims, didn't believe them, and said, enough talk of ghosts, basically. Noises and strange activity in the home continued for months, and by early 1987, the girls were sick of it. Now, one evening, the knocking had started up as usual, and the girls were watching TV. Annie, she entered the kitchen and grabbed a knife. Now, that's a brave girl, I say. If you know me in real life, I'm actually a coward. I get scared so easily. Like, you just need it. But anyway, the girls, they decided to go into the basement. Which, if you have seen enough horror movies, you should never do. If you hear noises from the basement, you call police, you call a priest, you rush out of the home,
you burn it down,
and then you go live to Mexico. No, for real. They went to the basement, and as they reached the end of the steps, they peered in to see nothing. Like, they saw absolutely nothing. No noises, no ghost, just an old basement full, of boxes and dust. But just as the girls decided to, turn to climb back up the stairs, they saw a message on the wall appearing to have been written in blood, which read, "I'm in your room, come find me." Now, if that's not a good reason to burn your house, I don't know. The girls raced upstairs, they were screaming, they rushed out their front door, and they went to a neighbor's home. There, the girls called their father and told him, about the cryptic message written on the basement wall. Brian raced home, and he was met by the officers. Now, the blood that had been used to scroll the message on the basement wall was determined to be ketchup. Just ketchup, not paranormal ketchup, ghost ketchup maybe. Brian was raging, he was fuming. He thought that the daughters were playing a sick joke, and he decided that it would enroll them into therapy session in order to cope with the loss of their mother. After that, the noises stopped. The end. Of course, I'm joking. They stopped for a little while, and it would be 2 weeks before the strange phenomena started up again. Annie and Jessica were home alone again when loud noises were heard from the upstairs bedroom this time. So Annie again grabbed the knife, brave girl, and she wanted to, confront whatever was making all this mess. The girls had almost reached the top of the steps when they started to see what appeared to be another message written on Annie's wall. And this time it read, "I'm back, find me if you can." So we already know this story. Once again, the girls started screaming and they raced to the neighbor's home, who I'm pretty sure was kind of sick of it right now. Brian, he was furious again. He had to leave work. He went home. And this time, he immediately decided to go home and look for whatever was happening. As he reached the door, he noticed that all the TVs were turned up to a very loud volume. That was weird because, the neighbor, he already had checked on the house and he said that he didn't notice any of the televisions being turned on. Brian, he decided to not wait for police. He entered the house and he wanted to look around more. He walked up the stairs where the girls had reported hearing the noises, and as he reached the top of the steps, he saw a new message on Annie's wall. This time, Paranormal Ketchup said, "Marry me." Brian, saw the message, walked into the room when he noticed something in his peripheral. As he turned, he saw a young man wearing his dead wife's wedding dress and a blonde wig. Okay. His face had been covered in face paint, and in his hand was, a large hatchet, the one used for splitting logs. After fighting off the attacker, police arrived to case the house. Aside from, strange loud televisions and messages written with paranormal ketchup, they noticed nothing. One very smart officer, he noticed a small door behind the dresser the family used to store mail and other items. Behind the door sat a young man, a boy that Annie immediately recognized, being the same boy she had been on a date with almost 1 year prior. After some coaxing and screaming, police were able to place Daniel under arrest, and they forced him into the police cruiser. Now, inside the home, police found evidence that Daniel had been camping out there. They found a sleeping bag, food wrappers, beer cans, and a lot of other items that testified that he had been living there for a long time. A year later, that boy would be arrested again, but this time for the Gustafssons' murder. This is the part that everybody finds kind of weird, because a lot of people say that a lot of details have been added to the story by the media to make it, more interesting, more appealing, This happened for sure, of course, but we're talking about details like people don't believe the fact that he was wearing his dead wife's dress and the blonde wig. And a lot of people don't even believe the fact that he was writing messages on the wall with ketchup. Anyway, 2 days after police discovered Daniel living between the walls of the family, they brought him to Juvenile Detention Center, where he was forced to stay until October 6th, 1986. His mother paid bail, and to be honest, not much is known on what sort of sentence he received for the attempted hatchet attack. I have a lot of questions about this story. Anyway, Danny. After the Gustafssons' murder, he was discovered hiding in a dumpster 2 days after the man started. Police took him and, of course, inspected his clothing. And they found a hair on his sock that was a match for Abigail Gustafsson, Priscilla's daughter. A year later, Daniel was sentenced to 3 life sentences for the murder of the Gustafssons. But the story doesn't end here. March 22nd, 2017. A resentencing hearing for Daniel was held at Middlesex Superior Court in Woburn, Massachusetts. Daniel, very smart boy, he asked for a reduction on his sentence, and his lawyer mentioned that, when he committed the crime, he was just a teenager, and that juveniles convicted of murder should be given a meaningful opportunity to re-engage with society. But the judge gave La Plante the maximum penalty of 45 years after a forensic psychiatrist evaluated Daniel and found out that he was not remorseful at all for his crimes. So, the story actually ends here. I know you have a lot of questions, and I have them too. This is kind of a weird one because it has murder, teenagers, paranormal stuff and seances, ghost activity. Anyway, I wanted to know your opinion on the fact that the lawyer said that we should give criminal teenagers the opportunity to re-engage with society. I mean, should we give them a chance? What do you think about this? Should we give the opportunity to murderers to actually be free again? I don't know, I'm very torn on this one. I don't know what to think about this. Like, in this case, of course, Daniel was found not remorseful, so he has to stay in jail. He deserves it. But what if he was found remorseful? How do you know they're not faking remorse? You know? Would he be free now? Would he be walking around? For the sim, now the sim I think came out pretty good, to be honest. I mean, it kind of looks like him, doesn't he? I don't know, I will let you judge on this one. By the way, if you're wondering if I'm going to keep all these people I'm making game, the answer is no, of course. I have no interest whatsoever in keeping trash human beings in my game. So I still don't really know what to say in this outro. But I guess I will say, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, share it with your friends, with your family, with your grandma. Do whatever you want, because any kind of support is appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this video, and of course, if you have some stories you want me to talk about, you can, suggest them in the comments down below on my Instagram or on my Twitter. I will listen to all of your requests. Anyway, this is the end of the video. We made it. Thank you for sticking with me till the end of this video. Again, I hope you liked it, and I guess I will see you in the next one. Bye!